Ex-husband asked for a divorce because I was too ambitious. Turns out he was having an affair with my best friend. My ex-husband and I had been married for 10 years before we got a divorce. Throughout our marriage, we never really had any big fights with one another. We were both very similar. We were both ambitious and driven. We both really worked hard to get where we were and also created a perfect balance between personal and professional life. Because of our common nature or personalities, we never really had a big problem agreeing with each other. We often had the same kind of opinions. But then after being married for a few years, my husband told me that he wanted a divorce. I was shocked and almost could not believe what he was asking. I was aware that we were not like the couple we were a few years ago, but I never thought that my husband was going to ask for a divorce. I begged him to not divorce him and that I would change whatever and however he wanted me to. I also told him that I was not going to divorce him, at least for the sake of our daughter. We fought for almost about a month. I finally gave in to his demand and decided to divorce him. I got custody of our daughter and he did not fight against it. He said that he wanted to live a life without any burden and wanted to be carefree. According to him, both of us were too similar. He did not want to spend the rest of his life with a person who was so similar to him. After our divorce, he moved to Italy as he wanted to travel more and live life. The divorce was very sudden and had a very bad effect on me. I never expected that we would end up getting a divorce. I had a very hard time collecting myself together after the divorce. My parents supported me and my best friend was with me throughout the divorce. She supported me at my absolute worst. Emily and I had been friends since we were in elementary school. We did everything together. When I was too busy, she would often take care of my daughter, and after the divorce, she stayed with me and my daughter and helped me a lot. A few months after the divorce, when I was much better, she left. Though she was my best friend, she was completely different from me. She was a free-spirited woman who lived life to her fullest. She was not married as she did not want to be tied down, even though she did date guys from time to time. After staying with me for a while, she left for Europe as she wanted to travel around a bit. After going to Europe, we started losing contact. I still considered her my best friend even though we did not talk as much as we did before. I gave all of my time to my daughter, so I did not really mind her not calling me. A few weeks ago I received a wedding invitation from my ex-husband. According to the invitation, my ex-husband was getting married once again. But what really caught my eye was the name of the bride. The bride's name was the same as my best friend. I was shocked. Most people spelled her name as Emily, but her mother wanted her to have a unique name. So when I saw that the bride's name was spelled Emily, I was shocked. I knew that my ex-husband was really close to Emily, but the chances of them getting married was impossible. I remember, when we were in high school, she dated a guy who was our common friend. After they broke up, she forbade me from talking to him. So I always thought that even though she was close to my husband, after my divorce she would have cut contact with him. But I thought that there was something wrong. I called my ex-husband's mother and asked her what was happening. As soon as she picked up the call, she started taunting me for calling her. The things she said during the call were things I never expected to hear. It was the worst phone call of my life. My ex-mother-in-law blamed me for the wedding. She said that I was the reason why her son divorced me and was getting married so soon. So, my ex-husband and my so-called best friend were having an affair for almost 4 years before we got divorced. According to my former mother-in-law, my best friend was very different from him. He was attracted to her because she was so different. Also, the day my dear ex-husband told me that he wanted a divorce, he came to know that Emily was pregnant with his child. I never thought that my best friend would do something like that to me. What was even worse was that she stayed with me after the divorce, helping me to get myself together. She pretended as if she cared about me. My ex-husband and my now ex-best friend made a fool out of myself. I know that my husband was also at fault, but what hurts the most is that I was also betrayed by my own best friend. She made a fool out of me by trying to take care of me while pretending as if she was not one of the causes of my devastation. She was successful in fooling me for almost 2 years now. I still cannot believe sometimes that my husband cheated on me with my best friend and they had an affair for 4 years. My ex-husband even has a child with her. Like, who would have thought that my best friend would have an affair with my husband? Also, my ex-husband's mother said that I was the one who caused everything. She said that I was too ambitious and greedy. She said the reason my husband cheated on me was because I was never home. She said that most of the time I would let my ex-best friends take care of my daughter while I would be at work. My husband would come home and instead of seeing his wife he would see Emily. He slowly started developing feelings for her and they fell in love. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if I should go to the wedding or not. What do y'all think? Shall I go to my ex-husband's wedding with my best friend? Update 1. I did not expect this post to blow up within a few days. Well, many of you recommended that I should show up at my ex-husband's wedding and sabotage the whole thing. As much as I would like to do something like that, I decided that I would be visiting both of them a few days before the actual wedding and confront them. I really want to know if those cowards will be able to admit what they did wrong and apologize for their mistake. I will keep you all updated on how things go. Update 2. So, here is the update of how things went, just as I promised. My daughter already got the hint that something was wrong. She snooped around my room while I was at work and found out the wedding invitation. When she asked me about it, I decided to tell her the truth. It was better for her to find out everything through me instead of someone else, and you can never underestimate kids these days. Anyways, after I told her everything, she said that she wanted to get the wedding with me. I agreed to take her. A few days before the wedding, we both went to Italy. I found their address through a common friend of ours. We showed up at their house very early in the morning. My darling ex-best friend was the one who opened the door for us. When she saw us, she almost fainted. We both walked in and I told her to get my ex-husband. He came out with their son. They asked us to stay for breakfast and we agreed. After our breakfast was done, I asked my daughter to go with her stepbrother and play with him for some time. After the kids were gone, I asked them to explain everything. They were both ashamed, especially Emily. They said the same thing as his mother. They did apologize for everything that they did. I asked them if they regretted anything, but both of them kept quiet. I could not believe it. It was the worst betrayal I have ever had in my life. I was about to leave with my daughter, but my ex-husband asked me if he could show our daughter around Italy at least for a day. Before I could say anything, my daughter said that she would be much more comfortable around me and did not want him to interfere in her life. After the little visit that we paid to my ex-husband and my ex-best friend, I decided that I was going to enjoy the rest of the days in Italy with my daughter. So for the remaining days we had a full-blown vacation and went to different places and had different kinds of food. Am I an a-hole for not letting my ex-husband meet our daughter? Update 3. I was not sure if I was going to update you all on this, but then many of you kept on asking how I was doing and how was my daughter, so I decided to give you all a small update. I have been doing quite well. After the trip to Italy and the confrontation, I was able to get everything off of my chest. I felt much lighter and better as I was able to tell them all the things that I have been wanting to tell them and ask questions that were killing me on the inside. My daughter has been doing well too. She is a very sensible child. She tries her best to avoid talking about her father, but I told her that it is fine if she wants to talk about him. Also, on a different note, I met a guy a few months ago. He is really charming and also very kind. We have been on a couple of dates previously. Last week I told my daughter that I was seeing someone. She was really very happy for me and said that she would like to meet him if I was fine with it. I invited him over for dinner last night. Both of them got along quite well. I was really happy to see them getting along so well, especially because my daughter is very particular with whom she interacts. Seeing he interacts so nicely with a stranger because of me made me feel very proud. My 25 female, fiancé, 24 male, and I just got engaged about a month ago, and even though the wedding isn't for another 2+ years, I have been going full steam ahead on wedding planning in order to get ahead and take some of the stress away. And honestly, for the most part, I've been thoroughly enjoying the process of planning my dream day, and predictably, my future mother-in-law desperately wants to help. Our theme is very dark, moody, and she keeps sending me incredibly rustic decor ideas, and I have found all of them to be hideous, frankly. I've already explained the theme to her, and I have explained that I will be paying for the decor package with my venue. I have also politely declined the rustic decor with the explanation that it doesn't fit the theme and she just doesn't seem to get the hint. Here's where I may be the a-hole is now she is sending me TikToks of other people's weddings saying things like you need to do this or I want to see this at your wedding. Also, I have told her many times that I want to buy a dress from an Etsy shop I like, but she is practically forcing me to go wedding dress shopping and taking her with me. On top of that, she is being incredibly nosy with all the details that have nothing to do with her, first dance, etc., and it feels like she has to approve of all of my decisions. My own mother isn't as involved in the planning as she is trying to be. The thing is, I love her to absolutely pieces, but I'm already running out of patience. I don't want to spend the next 2 years repeating the same information to her because she doesn't care enough to listen when I talk to her. My fiancé is prepared to step in if he needs to, but I'd rather it not come to that. Will I be the a-hole if I just want to be left alone to my planning? My future mother-in-law is being kind of pushy and overbearing trying to help me plan my wedding, when she wasn't asked, and her ideas don't fit the theme at all. So as I, 35 male, am currently both disappointed and bitterly angry, I'll keep this brief and to relevant details. So for backstory, my mother-in-law lives with us, she is disabled, doesn't work, and essentially is a live-in babysitter. So the book fair is at the school today, and I let all my kids pick out one book this time around. Money is tight, but my oldest, 7 female, Wanted a few more things, so we let her take some of her birthday money to school with her, $25, to get a few pens and unicorn notebook. So I found out today that after my mother-in-law picked up the kids from school today, she borrowed $4 of my oldest kid's change from the book fair. And I am absolutely livid. I have not been this angry in a long time. Because here is the thing, she used that $4 to buy cigars. And what pisses me off is she has no money outside what me and my fiancé provide her. And she spends this money on junk food and cigars. And I don't really like that part, but it. She doesn't/can't work, and she helps me out a lot by watching the kids while I work. So I spend a lot on junk food and cigars for her. She asks and nobody says no. So what pisses me off is that not only does she know we would have bought her cigars today, but how the F does she plan on paying my kid back? She has no money outside what I provide her, and all of that goes into cigars. All the junk food comes out of the food budget for the family. So she won't pay my kid back. For F's sake, she owes her own kid, he also lives with me, almost $100 that she borrowed from his first tattoo fund that he has never gotten back. So am I for being so blindingly angry she is having my 7-year-old support her addiction?